Welcome everyone on this lovely. Oh Lord, we're at Thursday already. How did we get here? How did we get here so quickly? Today, by my spirit. The reason I say this is because I keep reading and people are tossing in the towel. They're saying it doesn't matter what I do, my life doesn't change. It doesn't change by force. It doesn't change by force. It changes by spirit. You see, whether or not we say this is nonsense and it doesn't work, I've been doing it for years, I'm done. Whether we say that or whether we say, ooh, this is interesting, let me test it, it really is irrelevant because the law still works. It still works. It doesn't stop working because it cannot stop working. See, winter is not forced to happen. Winter is a transition in the rhythm that happens. We say in TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, it is going from most yang to yin. It is just a process. It is a flow that happens. Ebb and flow, so on. So you and I have this rhythm in our lives. So when we see that something is quote unquote taking a long time, when we feel ourselves becoming agitated, take a moment. That's your cue to say, whoa, Nelly, wait a minute. Let me sit here and look at this for a minute. Change is inevitable because we move through rhythm, ebb and flow. We move because we can't stand still. So it's not that nothing is changing in our lives. Nothing can remain the same. It is either we are moving towards the new that we say we want to be, or we continue to do the old, but you can't stop. So if something looks as if it is not changing, if it looks like you keep repeating the same cycle, acknowledge what that cycle is. That is always going to be step one. Acknowledge what it is. But in your acknowledgement, do not judge it. Do not beat yourself up for it. Because in the beating up of yourself, in the judging, that's the part that wins. That's the part that will keep you doing the same old, same old. The judgment. You see, it never changes. It doesn't matter what I do. Such a loser. That will keep you there. But if you catch yourself and you say, whoa, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. You know what? Okay. Get out polarity. Remember, polarity is your friend. Because we're going to give it a personality, right? She's asking you, where are you? And what are you doing? Write it down. Write down where you are and what you're doing. And when you see what you're doing, sometimes we need to see it. So we are prompted to make that change. Because when you can see the action that you're doing, well then, can you see the other action that would cause you to change? Because it's in the seeing of the new action that you want to do that will help you to accomplish it. Because it takes your attention away from the complaining. It takes your attention away from the woe is me. It takes your attention away from the anger, away from the disappointment. You have to take your attention away from it, because the more your attention remains on it, the more you breathe life into it. So when you hear by spirit, that is simply what it means. Look at it, observe it, and then you make that decision. You know what? I'd rather not be doing this. Well, then what would you prefer to be doing? And when you start turning your attention towards what it is you would prefer to be doing, a sensation will rise in you, because that is just naturally what happens. It naturally happens. You don't have to force it, right? We don't have to push, push, push. Sometimes we want to push because we think pushing will make it better or happen faster. This is the difference between using a quote unquote ritual and going by spirit. Yeah. Dancing naked in the moonlight will work. Do you know why it will work? Because you have focused your attention in a particular direction, and the law will unfold in that area. It's not the dancing in the moonlight. It is your intention that you've moved yourself from where you were to where you wanted to be. So you see, it's not the dancing. It was the decision to dance, which is by spirit. The decision to say, I want to change. That right there is what will bring about the change. But the decision that says it doesn't work, I can't do it, they're not the same. They're different polarities, they're different directions. So we don't force, we don't fight, we don't coerce, we don't quote unquote persuade or seduce. We make a decision that puts us in the direction of the desired outcome. And when you put yourself in the direction of your desired outcome, something happens in your body, because you have to have the confirmation. You know, the correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without. So if your body is saying to you, I don't believe you, well, then it's telling you you already believe something else instead. So why don't you believe it? See, you don't force it, investigate. Why don't you? Because it will help you to not fight. Well, I've been trying for so long and nothing works, so why should I believe it? Why should I keep believing it? You're not asked to believe. See, we use that word interchangeably. You're asked to know. So then you go back and you ask yourself, what do I know? Well, I've done something in the past. We were talking with Frederick yesterday, and he mentioned it. He said, if you find yourself in a situation where you want to speak, but you feel a little scared and you can't, go back to a time where you spoke with boldness and draw from that. Because what are you doing? You're pointing yourself in the direction of what? Courage. And that's all you do. Point yourself in the direction of the thing. It was courage that he wanted so he could speak. So he went back to a time where he could, where he did. And he was bold. And all he did was point himself in that former direction of courage. And do you know what happened? Oh, snap, there was courage. Like if courage was waiting for him. So it wasn't by force that he had to do it. We don't have to force it. I'm not just speaking to you. I'm speaking to me. This is a thing we have to get up and do every day. A decision we're constantly becoming. So it's not by force, it is by spirit. Spirit, the decision, the awareness. The what am I aware of myself doing? And then simply pointing yourself in the new direction. Because in that new direction, you've actually made a decision, you know. You said, perhaps it could work. Let me try again. So now you're assuming that you can change. And when you assume that you can change, that's all the work that needs to be done. In that little assumption of, I can do this. Yes. Because what we remember, our quote unquote failures, when we remember those are only memories. Remember what Neville said? Go back and revise the memory. Revise it to be the way you had wanted it to have gone. Revise it so that the next time you come upon a situation, you don't recall failure, you recall success. Yeah? Go ahead. This is the beauty of what we have. It truly is. Go back. And if that memory says, you see, you sucked then, you're going to suck now. Yeah, that is only a memory. Memory is just something because you've done it and it's stored in the brain. That's what a memory is. That's why Alzheimer's can take it away. It erases the memory, right? But here, you and I can deliberately swap it for something else. You know, when two people come together and they go, well, I don't remember it that way. I remember it this way. And the other person says, no, that's not what happened. Oh, they both have two different memories of the same situation. Which is telling us we have the capacity to change a memory. We do. That is what revision is. So that when you change that old thing, you are setting up so that when you come across it again, you're going to do something new instead of repeating the old. And you did not do it by force. You didn't do it by force. We do it by spirit. What do I mean by spirit? What are you aware of? The spirit. You're aware of something. You could be driving right now. You're aware that you're driving. That red light might be coming up. The green light is there. You could be sitting at your desk. You could be sipping your tea. Shoot, you could be laying in bed. You are aware. Now, what else are you aware of? Something that displeases you or something that pleases you? You see, we are aware. And it is that awareness that when we touch it, we say, I see what I've done. Because remember, it is only the memory and the emotion attached to that thing that makes us upset. But it's only making you upset. It's not telling you what is possible. It is only making you upset. You decide what is possible and what is impossible. The thing that is possible is where you're going to put your attention. That's what makes it possible. Because the possibility means you're giving it life to bring it about. So when you turn your attention away from it, you are removing the life and the possibility from it so that it cannot take form. But when you put your attention on it, your awareness on it, you're breathing life into it and giving it form. So you see, things are going to happen. Because there's not just one thing running in the background, there are many. So you can't look at your life. I can't look at my life and say, manifestation doesn't work because I've never manifested anything. Have we not? Of course we have. We do every day. It's a byproduct of simply existing. Right? But it is, again, it is only a memory that will cause us to become discouraged. It is only a memory. It is not fact, it is just a memory. And if that memory displeases you, rehearse a new one.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, I hate to interrupt you.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
So I'm really stuck on this. I don't know if anybody else is. I figured I would at least tell you because I'm just having trouble. I feel like I'm stuck in rose bushes and can't get out of this. So all the things that are going on, like I'm feeling like I'm in flow and my frequency is high and I'm feeling good and I'm really focused on what I want to see, what I want to receive and reflect back. But with all this stuff going on in the world, I find that it's really hard for me not to. I keep getting brought back into it. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but I try to pay attention to my environmental diet, meaning what I'm letting come in, right? What I'm reading, what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, all of that. And I keep getting sucked back into the news about what's happening, right? I'll just use the Israel-Palestine as a situation as an example. And I feel like there's part of me that keeps saying, well, you need to know what's going on. You can't just put your head in the sand. Because I try to think, well, me giving attention to that is not helping the situation. But then I feel sort of, then there's this guilt that comes over me for not participating and not taking a stand and not doing something. So I just keep having this tug of war and I feel like it's messing me up. I don't know. I'm all over the place, but I'm trying to articulate this.
No, you made it very clear. And that is a very beautiful observation and a question because everybody is dealing with it. I can promise you that. When this situation arises, go to revision. We know what is happening. We see it, we hear about it, right? It brings you pain and displeasure. Go and revise it. What would you prefer to see happen? That's where you go. Say it again.
Peace and love. That's what I would like to see. Peace.
Right. If that is what you want to see, then that is where you put your attention and your focus. Every time it should come up, go back and you tell yourself what you want to see. Remember, when you revise something, you're projecting a new way outward into the environment, is what you're doing. Because your new thought cannot stay within your own mind. It does not stay within your own mind. It goes outward and it influences other people. So, if we find that these things in the news cause us displeasure, there's only one question. Is it making you happy or is it causing you pain? So if it is causing you pain, revise it and you answer the question, what would I prefer instead? Think about this for a minute. You want peace. So do they. Whoever's there, somebody still wants peace. So they are in agreement. So the more people who are in agreement about a thing, that thing comes about. Because again, I'm glad you mentioned this, Ali. I am very glad you did. Because right now what we are looking at is force. Do you understand what I'm saying? We are looking at force, and it is not by might, it is not by power, but it is by spirit. You see, we keep thinking, because it's been done for as long as we can recall in all of millennia, that man has always taken up arms. We've always fought. We've always gone by force. But because we have always gone by force, it does not mean that that is the way. It just means we've always done it that way because we were convinced to do it that way. So when we come up with, and I knew you were going to say, you felt guilty about it. You see, now, guilt in your body causes you to behave in a particular way. It changes your whole body chemistry. Don't get it twisted, it does. So when it changes your body chemistry, well, it's not a good thing. So as within, so without. So now think about it. We've got a whole bunch of people polarized in a particular way, for or against, but they are doing the exact same thing because it's the same nature. For or against is the same. So when we come upon a situation, it doesn't matter how we seek to justify. It's not that you're not taking a stand, you are taking the greatest and only stand that you can take. It's the only stand that you can take is to revise. What are you going to do? You're going to beat everybody who's in opposition to you? Now you're using force because you don't want that. You cannot beat someone into submission. We have tried. So the only option we have is to revise what is happening. See what you want to see, hear what you want to hear. No, you're not burying your head in the sand. You're not. Because we have to choose. Oh, you have to choose. So we always hear these things. Well, you choose the lesser of two evils. Do you want evil? There is a third option. Revise is the third option. You do not choose the lesser of two evils. You revise the situation to bring about the choice you actually want to make, which is good. And I know that we feel stuck and frustrated in it because nobody else is revising, Angela. Nobody else is choosing good. So, because nobody else is choosing good, it's not because they don't want good. They don't know that they can choose good. They don't see good because they're not looking for good. But when we revise, we create the good. And it does not stop with us, just like the bad doesn't stop with us. Mob mentality. Do you hear what I'm saying to you today? There is a third way. Does that make sense?
This is gold. I mean, yeah, thank God I can go back and re-listen to this. But yes, that's so, so helpful. You know, you get these blind spots and you just can't see out of it. And what you just said was gold. Thank you so much. I mean, that really is helpful. And I think if more of us, and you're right, because people are naturally feeling the pressure to pick a side, right? And you're right. No side is is right or wrong. It's just, so there is a third option, and we're forgetting that. And I think if more of us keep our eye on that prize, it can change the tide.
I'm right there with you, love. I've been feeling like that too. I want peace. Why do we all have to fight? Why do we have to, I don't know, do what's going on? And I'm glad you bring it up. I'm glad you broke it down, Angela, because yeah, I was feeling that way too. TikTok has it like these filters that you can do, and they claim that the filters go to the people of Palestine. Well, I did one, and at the end of it, I let people know, I'm like, look, I just want peace. Like, seriously, all this fighting, please stop. So, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is. I understand more than you might think sometimes, right? I get it. And this is why these conversations can be important to have, but they're important to have to bring about a solution, not so we can debate each other. You see, we have been convinced that the nature of man is to be violent. I'm going to say that to you again. We have been convinced that the true nature of man is one of violence. And I am telling you right now, that's a lie. It is not our nature to be violent. It really isn't. Not our true nature. But because it keeps happening, we think that's what is real. So the reminder for us today is this. When we are faced with a situation, this is why we take a moment to assess what we've been faced with instead of allowing ourselves to become polarized. Meaning, go to the far left or go to the far right. But remember, whether you go far left or far right, you're all doing the same thing. So, revise. How do we revise? We revise when we observe what is happening and we make the choice. Is this making me feel good or is this hurting me? And you revise by seeing. If what you're looking at hurts, see something else that makes you feel better. If you're hearing something that makes you hurt, hear something that soothes you. That's as simple as it is. Not by might, not by power, but by spirit. But by spirit. We are not hopeless. We are not weak. We're not incapable. We just don't know. Think about this. Nobody has all of the information, except for a handful. But nobody has all of the information. So, how do you choose a side without having all the information? The path of, is this bringing life to all of us? If that is your question, then you know how to answer it. If it isn't bringing life, then choose life. What does Deuteronomy 28? I know we don't all believe in scripture, but we're not looking at scripture as something to believe. We're looking at scripture as something to interpret, to apply to our existence so we can be better. Deuteronomy 28 tells us, today I put before you life and death. What does it tell us to do? It says, choose life. That's what we do. We choose life. That is our third option. This is the beauty of the law that we have within us every single day, to choose life. All you have to do is choose it. And because you have pointed yourself in that direction, then life unfolds. If you look at creation, it always lends itself towards life. Watch it and you'll see. It is law. Marjorie says there's only love. Well, yeah. But we think love is kumbaya. Right? Because we want to feel ooey gooey. But it is the awareness that, oh, we can make a difference. We can make a difference. Let us take a brief moment now, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space. And I'm going to say this before I do that. I appreciate you, Ali, for asking that question, because I know sometimes we feel like we can't, but Ali is the reminder this morning that we can always ask the question. Always. And if you don't feel comfortable asking it here in a group, slide into my DMs and I will address it publicly. Not who asked, but the question itself. Twitter, C Staff, Jeff Azzy22. I see you all here. Thank you for being here, my beautiful friends, on Twitter this morning. Thank you for being here. We have Facebook. I can't see who's there, but I know Indy. I know Faye. And on YouTube, Marjorie, Cyber, Shane Free, The Better Man, Joaquin, Amanon, Soul of a Man, Anot. And for the others who've not made themselves known, I know you're there. Welcome. It is always a beautiful thing to be with you. Fan base, who's here? Ron, Tactiturn, Legacy, Ozzy, Monique, baby, Flo Smiles, Casey, Coach, Stephanie, My Melanin, Miss McQueen, Elle, Ali, Marquise, Oracle Treehouse, Zola. I see you all. It is brilliant to be here with you today. It really, really is. And the reason it is beautiful to be here with you, just because it just is, it is an opportunity to have air in these lungs again today, to be able to see my boy and my dad and my chicken and all of you. It is a most beautiful thing. So use it. Use it well and wisely. Make it worthwhile because we have it. You know, we do. And it's neither height nor depth, neither life nor death, neither power nor principality. Nothing can separate us, Marjorie, from the love of God. Why is that? Because the kingdom of heaven is within you. And where is God? Inside the kingdom of heaven. So how can you be separated from yourself? So nothing can separate you from the love of God. Because you are already the love of
You
God.
know what?
Go ahead.
The question is asked. I've been hearing it a lot. You know the Bible verse where it says, "Let us make man in our image."
Yes.
People say, "Who is our?" Well, we are the our.
Mm-hmm.
We are the ones that are making manifestations in our image daily. So be careful what you think about, what you feel, and what you say, because you are a part of the Creator. You are the Creator. You and the Father are one.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you said that. Because it's like we walk around sometimes and we're looking for our glasses, but we're wearing them. That's what it is. We're looking for love. We're looking for acceptance, but we are already love and we are already accepted. Period. There's no there's no way around it. It's nothing to find. It is something to accept and to become aware of. Thank you for that, Marquise. Thank you. Marjorie says, then through war or revolution, we destroy titles which to us represents arrogance and greed. We become in time the embodiment of that which we thought we had destroyed. That's from Neville Goddard, lesson 4. We've heard it said another way. Be careful. You know, when you look into the abyss, they tell you, it'll look back. The thing you are fighting, if you keep fighting it, you in time become it. Well, why? Because you have it, you've given it your whole attention. You are breathing life into it. That's why you give your attention to the thing that you want to become, not the thing you hate. Oh dear. You see, we have all these cute and fancy sayings, but we hear them so much we're now deaf to them. Right? That's why they tell you what's that saying? Man, Marquise, you know what I'm talking about. You live long enough to become the villain. That one, that part.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You don't ever have to become a villain. Why? You don't have to. So today, be encouraged to know that it is not by might, it is not by power, meaning force. Look at how well force has worked for us. When you force, what happens? Remember the law of rhythm and it compensates. So, how hard you push to the left is how hard it has to swing back to the right. That's why when you choose and you choose the side of love, it has to come back in that fashion as well. It is rhythm. So that's why force makes people angry. Try forcing that small child to pick up its toys. Oh, they get persnickety. But if you start tidying up with them, they're more inclined to follow your lead. All you did was choose good. Those I see those memes. Somebody says, I chose violence today. I see that meme. And we think it's a joke. But the subconscious mind does not know what a joke is. It just stores the information you put in it. So what are you going to choose? Because if you choose it, right, you'll get an encounter where you have to apply what you have chosen. You put good things in, good things will come out. It is simple, but we like to complicate things. So remember today, don't feel as though you're being backed into a corner. That is only a perception. You are never backed into a corner. Ever. You create your way out. Create your way out by revision. And how do we revise? If you are looking at something that brings you displeasure, see what you want to see instead. You already know that it works because I could be looking at purple and somebody could say, oh, but that's indigo. We're looking at the same thing, but we have different perspectives. You can always bring about change by changing the perspective. Revise. See the thing you want to see. Hear the thing you want to hear. Oh, but what if I'm lying to myself? You're not lying to yourself because you can clearly see what is before you. And we have all contributed in some fashion to put it there. So if we have all contributed to putting it there, well then remove your contribution and put it elsewhere. Why? Because Neville says things wither and die for want of attention. So you see, we're never stuck, my beautiful friends. Marjorie says none to change but self. This is fact. It's just the self. Remember the lecture from the other night? We may think they are Chinese. We may think they are Indian. We may think they're black. We may think they're white. But in actuality, it is just many faces on oneself. Many faces on one self. That is our reminder this morning that we are spirit and let us use it. We don't have to force, we don't have to fight, we don't have to argue. Revise. And you see, if we practice revision on a daily basis, you will find, because I know I can hear that question floating around, what do you do when you're in the thick of it? See, if we practice revision on a daily basis, we reduce the thick of things that we are in. I'll say it again. If we practice revision on a daily basis, we reduce the amount of places we find ourselves in the thick of it. Because we're not creating those things anymore. We're not creating the thick of things anymore. We're not creating the arguments anymore. Because we've revised how we want to walk through the world. So I trust that we will apply the law continually, day in and day out. Because new every morning, right? Anywho. Yes. I love you, Marjorie. She says we have all the tools in the box. We do. And revise right there in the thick of it. Of course, right there, right then. Revise. That's your power. Well, yeah, we want to look at Doctor Strange, and he has the time stone, and he can rewind time, and he goes to. I always will remember this scene where he's with Dormammu, and he says, "Dormammu, I've come to bargain," and Dormammu kills him every time, and he comes back. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Hey, we're never stuck in a situation. We persist until the situation changes. Persist in what? The thing we're doing. I've come to bargain. Until Dormammu finally realizes, what is this? And he says, release me. Because he became aware that he was stuck. became aware. So you and I have that same power, you know. It's not a time stone. It's you. Revise. Revise. Let me get the bowl. Man, I just love you guys so much. I really do. Let me get that bowl. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. Aw, Jeff. It is always such a pleasure to hang out with you. Thank you for being here. And I know the other guys, they've gone off to work now, but thank you. And I will see you all tonight. Much love. Twitter is closed. YouTube and Facebook, you know I love you. Marjorie and Cyber and Shane Free, The Better Man, Joaquin, John Emanon, Soul of a Man, A Not. I will see you tonight, 10:45 p.m. Oh, indeed. We'll read another Neville Goddard lecture. I don't remember which one, but it's in there. I'll see you soon.